Present.
Sexton.
Here.
Sollard. Thorsland.
Here.
Vanich Thurina.
Here.
Wiggs.
Here.
Wilson.
Here.
Cagle.
Here. Here.
Carter. Cowart. Crane.
Here.
Esri. Barney.
Here.
Fava. Fortato. Hanover Friedman.
Here.
Lakshin.
Here.
Pugh. Rodriguez.
Here.
Locke.
Here. We have a quorum. Is there a motion for approval of the agenda and addenda? Vanich Thurina and second by Thorsland. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. The agenda has been approved. I would entertain a motion for approval of the September 9th, 2025 regular meeting minutes. Jenny Lakshin, and we have Mr. Crane second. Any discussion of the minutes? Yes, Mr. Pugh.
Yes, thank you. I had a question too about these. Why are we getting these the day of? Can we not get these minutes like in the packet or anything like that?
I believe ideally we would get them in the packet. I think that there's just, due to personal reasons, the employee who prepares them was off using paid time off, and they just couldn't get done in time. So rather than take them up to next month, I think we got them now.
I was just saying usually because I'm looking back on some of the cow meetings and some of the board meetings, and about half the time we're not getting it in the packet, we're getting it the day of. And I just want to voice my concern about that because it really doesn't give us time to really read through them and to see what the reflection is. And I had a part of that too, because I'm going to be voting no on these tonight because I think the part that talks about Miss Jet and our new job and stuff like that kind of glossed over our 15-minute conversation. And there's not a whole lot of detail there at all. So thank you.
Any further discussion? Ms. Lakshin.
Well, I mean, just a reminder that they are minutes, and you can go back to the board recording to get the full transcript of what happened at the meeting.
Seeing no further discussion, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of approving the September 9th, 2025 regular meeting minutes? Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Nay.
Okay, the ayes have it. I have one slip for public input tonight. Circuit Clerk Susan McGrath, please come forward.
Thank you, Chair Locke and County Board members. Mr. Wilson already complimented me on my red outfit, and I wanted to have something cheery when I talked to you all this evening because I have what I hope is good news. I did have a meeting with Travis, as you all had enabled me to be able to do from our September 30 meeting. He had recommended that the two positions I had requested be contained in next year's budget without additional funds. In order for that to happen, you all actually have to approve the two positions to be added to my staffing agenda. And so as you approve the final budget, if that is in fact what you have agreed to, you just need to add those two staffing positions to my staff in order to enable that to happen. So thank you for listening to what I requested at the meeting and for allowing me to approach you tonight to let you know what I hope is good news.
Thank you, Susan, for keeping us in the loop. I have no other slips. If any other member of the public would like to address the board, now's your chance. All right, moving on. Board member communication. Ms. Lakshin.
Just a reminder that this weekend, Saturday, October 18th, is the 16th Annual Disability Resource Expo at Marketplace Mall. It's a free event for individuals with disabilities and their families in Champaign County and all of East Central Illinois. There'll be over 60 exhibitors. There'll be accessibility provided for this event, including complimentary wheelchair and walker rentals, additional accessible parking, ASL and Spanish interpreters, and a personal care assistance provider. Don't miss it. This is a huge event every year. Again, it is Marketplace Mall, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday, October 18th.
Further communications? JJ.
Just want to remind the board that tomorrow evening, 6:30 p.m. at Muhammad American Legion is a community meeting about the proposed solar development. This is something that some board members requested of the developer, and they are following through on this. So if you have the opportunity to attend, I'd recommend it.
Any further communications? Mr. Wilson. Mr. Wilson, then Mr. Thorson.
Hey, good evening, board. First of all, happy 250th birthday for the U.S. Navy, which was on the 13th. And being a Navy veteran, I thought it was pretty cool, 250 years. October 13th, 1775, I kind of looked through a little bit about a history, some things we may remember. The Revolutionary War, there was a certain commander named John Paul Jones. Everybody remembers your U.S. history, a guy named John Paul Jones. And he was on a certain ship called the Bonhomme Richard, which was being devastated by the British Navy. And then the British Navy said, well, hey, how about surrendering? And then he said, which is a famous words, is, I have not yet begun to fight. I have yet not begun to fight. And that's, I think, probably the motto of the Navy after all these years, 250 years. And then I thought I'd look at the numbers real quickly. Back in 1775, there were not very many ships. There were 4 converted merchantman ships, some smaller vessels, and even smaller than that, boats. At a peak in 1779, there were only 5,000 sailors. It was called the Continental Navy at that time, and maybe 2,000 Marines. Now, fast forward to 2025, there's almost 300 ships, I think, which is less than World War II. And they have a goal to get to 381, and 134 unmanned vessels. Active service personnel that are Navy is 337,000. And Marines, 172,000. And just because I was on a submarine, I thought I'd let you know that there were no submarines in 1777. And today, there's not, now there's 66. 66. So I thought that was pretty good. Happy birthday, U.S. Navy. And then coincidentally, Columbus Day was celebrated on the 13th this year. And it's hard to imagine that in 1492 and about 300 years later, those 3 little ships would turn into what we have today for U.S. Navy, which definitely controls the sea and keeps sea lanes open. Then finally, on the 13th yesterday, a lot of good news for many about the release of 20 hostages that were held hostage for over 2 years. It was very emotional for many people to have those people incarcerated for 20 years in whatever condition they were in. They were finally released. And maybe out of this, a lot have been called Mr. Trump to get the Nobel Peace Prize for this. And just for history's sake, 4 presidents so far have been awarded the Nobel Peace Prize, and maybe this will be number 5. Thank you.
Mr. Thorson?
Thanks. A couple of things. First off, Aaron's not here tonight, so again, harvest is sort of wrapping up, but that doesn't mean they're not still out there on the roads. Please be careful. The sun goes down earlier now. Farmers have enough trouble. I get this every week. I'm going to read you a passage from this so that you can think about what they're going through right now. This is from the American Farm Bureau policy or federation. Letters sent to Trump and congressional leaders emphasize the severe economic pressures facing American farmers and ranchers, including falling crop prices, skyrocketing expenses, and trade disputes. They're creating conditions that are too much for farm families to bear, according to AFBF. So think about the farmers. Don't maybe necessarily pray for them, but perhaps vote for them. Vote for them to get the help they need. Remind you again that they're asking for bridge loans for the farmers, which means we'll all be farmers soon. so we can all think about agriculture. Some things of note that's topical that Jeff brought up. In 1964, on October 14th, Martin Luther King got the Nobel Peace Prize. And on October 9th in 2009, Obama was one of the presidents who got the Nobel Peace Prize. The only other things I have is on Saturday at noon, across the street will be the No Kings rally. And then a week from that will be the Pride Festival. So both events coming up, and you'll hear more about them, I'm sure.
Any further? Ms. Rodriguez.
I think it's important to mark what's going on in the city of Chicago right now, particularly with our undocumented immigrant community. We are seeing folks being dragged from their jobs. We are seeing folks being slammed to the ground by masked officers. These are things that we haven't seen in the United States for some time, but I think are worth noting here. I also just want to highlight for this community that we are not somehow immune to these proceedings. And if it were to happen here, please record anything that you see. Thank you.
Seeing no further communications from the board, we will move along. Finance, Chair Hanauer Friedman.
Okay, we have our monthly general corporate budget amendment report, which is information only, so you can see where we are with BUAs and the deficit. And then moving on, budget amendment BUA 2025-9-477, Fund 2085, County Motor Fuel Tax, Department 060, Highway, increased appropriations 3 million, increased revenue 0. Reason, increased costs in road maintenance materials necessitates a budget amendment to cover the remaining costs for 2025. Any discussion? Oh, sorry, can I get a motion? It's been a while. Cohort and Thorsland, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Budget transfer BUA 2025-9-531, Fund 2091, Animal Control, Department 047, Animal Control Admin, and 248, Impound Services, amount 29,200. Reason, unanticipated operational costs stemming from fiscal year 24, expenses paid from the fiscal year 25 budget. Can I get a motion? Vanish Thierenot. Second by Wiggs. Any discussion? See none. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Budget Amendment BUA 2025-10-98, Fund 1080, General Corporate, Department 041, State's Attorney, increased appropriations 25,000, increased revenue 0. Reason, appropriation required for the potential overrun of expenses in fiscal year 2025. Can I get a motion? Vanish Thierenot. Can I get a second? Hurtado. Any discussion? Unfortunately, it doesn't look like anyone from that office is here. Yes, Mr. Crane.
Is it typical to request money that you don't know that you need yet?
That is a very good question. Chair Locke.
I'm not actually, I don't have an answer about typically because every department handles it differently. Sometimes when there's a known expense that there's not money for, yeah, but at this point, it does seem premature, doesn't it? Because we do a lot of budget amendments after the fact when we know that things are there and we know bills are coming due. And while I have the mic, I will say that like what gets me is we know that experts are going to cost money. We know all of this. LexisNexis is a known subscription, so that it's included in the list of, oh, we didn't see this coming. Kind of rubbed me the wrong way, that's all. So That's all.
Mr. Varney.
I agree. My preference would be that departments come to us when they've actually spent everything in their commodities budget. It's very common practice to move things around until you get to the end of the year, and we see a lot of these cleanups in December and January, quite honestly. I'm not sure if, do we need to table this, ask for the state's attorney's office to be here to explain why they need this now, rather than vote it down? I'm not sure what the best course of action is right now, but I have the same concerns.
I also share these concerns, and in addition to LexisNexis, I have questions about the office supplies, $8,000 for furniture. Seems like something that could be planned for, and if not in the budget, perhaps waiting on. Yes, Ms. Rodriguez.
I agree with the previous questions and concerns that have been asked. I would like to phrase it another way. Was there ever a reality in which we would not need access to LexisNexis? I think the answer is no.
Hurtado.
I would push back on one thing. I do think I would prefer that department heads and elected officials ask us for the money before they spend it than asking us to vote for money that they have. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, as long as there's justification of the costs. I do sometimes actually have a problem with the flip side when it's February, they've overspent their budgets. At that point, what are we going to say? No. Do you know what I mean? So I do think there's kind of both sides to that story. That's not anything about the specific one, but just in terms of timing. But I'm fine moving it to November or whatever. That's always seemed a little like closing the door after the horse has left the barn. I know that's a saying.
Mr. Wilson.
I think that is a saying. So maybe for people that are listening or watching, is there in the commodities budget some other line items that could cover this forecasted $25,000? Does the state's attorney's office, as other offices, have ability to shift some things around within their own budget prior to forecasting an increase?
Yeah, I think that's exactly the type of question we need to be asking them before approving this. So I would agree that tabling this might be a good way, so we have a chance to get this information from them since they're not here tonight.
Well, just one more follow-up. So whatever the number of line items in the commodities, maybe some will be short, some will be long. Be nice to say, okay, here's where I forecast I'm going to underrun, here's where I'm going to forecast where I'm going to overrun, and then the net is X, whatever the net forecast is. And then we could look at that. Does that make sense, or is that too much to ask?
Ms. Furtado.
My guess is, I don't think we're seeing that math. My guess is that this is what they're anticipating in those lines that is going to be needed. I have a suggestion. Instead of just tabling it, in case there is any reason that they do need it, without them being here, it's hard to know. We could always vote to put it on the full board agenda, but keep it off of consent, give them an opportunity to come speak to us. At that time, we would still have absolute ability to vote it down or to table it. If we table it, that would be to the next cow, which would mean that we are presumptively deciding that they don't need the funds until November.
That makes sense.
Would you like to make a motion on that?
There's really no motion. It would just be the vote would need to go in a way to forward it to the next meeting, but at least have one person vote no, or one person request anybody could at any time pull something off consent.
Any further discussion? Ms. Coate?
Can we just send it to the full board without a vote?
I think we still vote, but we can make sure it gets pulled off the consent agenda.
You can state right now that you don't want it on the consent. You can do the vote
Okay.
and say, but don't put it on consent.
Okay. Well, let's do that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Moving on, auditors' reports through April are available online. And now we have an extremely long list of, the treasurer's monthly report also available online through September. And now we have an extremely long list. So bear with us here. I'm going to do number C2 through 11 as an omnibus, unless there's any objection to that. And then 12 through 18 as an omnibus, and 19 through 21 as an omnibus. And I've asked my co-chair to kindly take a turn reading some of these. So we have, I guess, can I get a motion? Okay, Locke and Lockshin. Sorry, do I read it first? Okay. Resolution authorizing the county executive to assign mobile home tax sale certificate of purchase permanent parcels 14-019-0059, 14-019-0080, 04-002-0138, 30-053-0039, 30-060-0054, 14-019-0007, 30-063-0099, 20-032-0123, 30-054-009, and 30-058-0159. Can I get a motion on those? Okay. Any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. And I'll pass it over.
All right, so I'm going to do numbers 12 through 18. Resolution authorizing the execution of a deed of conveyance of the county's interest on real estate permanent parcel 14-03-01-379-006, permanent parcel 02-01-36-480-008, permanent parcel 20-09-02-152-016, permanent parcel 22-31-07-451-003, permanent parcel 01-35-30-206-010, permanent parcel 20-03-34-483-009, and permanent parcel 02-01-17-409-003. Could I get a motion? Mr. Sexton, and a second. Mr. Crane. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
And last but not least, resolution authorizing the cancellation of the appropriate certificate of purchase on a mobile home, permanent parcels 04-004-0027, 20-032-0215, and 30-056-0199. Can I get a motion? Van Steernot and Sexton. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. D, Regional Planning Commission, resolution authorizing the application and, if awarded, the acceptance of the Career Planner Training Academy grant. Can I get a motion? Lockshin, Thorsland, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. State's Attorney resolution agreeing to participate in the service program of the Office of the State's Attorney's Appellate Prosecutor for 2026. Can I get a motion, Barney? Locke? Discussion? Mr. Barney?
I just wanted to mention that this is something we've participated in for many years. It's budgeted for, and it's a great resource. So I'm glad we're participating in it.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Last, we have the monthly audit update. Travis isn't here tonight, but you can see his memo. Things are progressing. I think we're very, very close to getting the trial balance to CLA. Okay. I have no other business. I have no chair's report. For the consent agenda. I'm sorry, Ms. Carter?
So the audit wasn't completed? Is that what you just said?
No, the audit is extremely behind.
What was the purpose of adding up the other employees? I thought that was going to ensure us to be on time.
I'm not sure that we've already moved on the agenda. I'm not sure that this is the appropriate form, but I'd be happy to talk to you after the meeting if you have questions about that.
I would like the public to know that the audit was not done and you guys hired extra employees for it to be done. So that's the reason why I added that in there. Thank you. I was not talking to you, Emily.
I'm happy to clarify for the public that the reason the audit is late is because the auditor under his office did not get the necessary material done on time to our external auditor. And we have now been forced to hire people to do that work. They just started in the last couple of weeks. So no, this year's audit will be late, as we've said all along. We're hoping that we can get started on next year's audit, which is already behind as well, due to the same reason, and be on time next year, hopefully. Moving on, for the consent agenda, we've got items A2, 3, C2 through 21, D1, E1. And that is it. Back to you, Chair Locke.
Thank you. Chair Rogers is not here for Justice and Social Services, so I grant you Vice Chair Ed Sexton.
Okay, monthly reports, all reports are available on each department's webpage through the department reports page, and the website's on there. Emergency and Management Agency, August and September. Probation and Court Services, August, and Public Defender, September. There is no other business and no chair's report. So,
thank you, Mr. Sexton. Moving on, Policy, Personnel, and Appointment. Chair Vanch Theronot.
Thank you, Chair Locke. County Executive has the monthly HR report for September 2025. We will be amending the schedule of authorized positions in the Administrative Services Department to add a finance specialist. It is page 42 in your packet if you would like to read up on it. Can I have a motion? Do we need to, motion to amend the schedule? Wait, we're not there yet. John, is there a second? Ms. Furtado? Discussion? Ms. Carter.
Is this the assistant to Mr. Travis?
I wouldn't call him an assistant, but they will be doing accounts payable, assisting in finance, and assisting with the audit. Chair Locke?
So I can speak to this one a little bit, and I think that if we have further questions, we have Michelle and Steve available to answer more detailed. But basically what happened is we had created one finance specialist and 4 positions below. And after we filled the one finance specialist, we got an application that was somebody with audit experience, a CPA, would be able to perform our audit, a lot of preparing of the functions of the audit for the future, and seemed sort of too good to be true. So instead of having one finance specialist, because I know it says 3, but there was already one existing. So instead of adding 1 and adding 4, we're adding 2 and adding 3. It still cost the county less money than it was to have all of these tasks not being performed in the auditor's office. And it gives us somebody with experience and ability who's already been able to help. This person has been onboarded. This person has already prepared the commissary audit for the jail that needed to be done. It needs, by statute, must be done by the auditor or treasurer. Our auditor was given the opportunity and said, no, have Orion do it. Orion does not work for us, and we pay Orion in his private firm an hourly private firm wage to do so. So no, it should be done by the person who it's supposed to be done by statute. The auditor refused to do it. Our new hire did do it, and it was signed off on by the treasurer as it was done completely, done on time, and done accurately.
Any other discussion? Yes, Mr. Wilson?
There we go. Got it. Thanks. Just maybe a correction. So the resolution says amending the schedule of authorized positions in the Administrative Services Department - Finance Specialist. Is it really Finance Specialist and Accounts Payable? Because both are changing.
No, that's just that's the actual position title is finance specialist.
Oh, actually, we're reshuffling the deck on who's doing what, right? And so we've gone from 2 financial specialists to 3 financial specialists and 4 accounts payable to 3 accounts payable. So wouldn't the title also encompass both position allocations?
It does say that by removing one accounts payable clerk position. Do you want me to just read the resolution? Should that? Okay. Resolution number 2025-XXX. It does not have a number yet. Resolution amending the schedule of authorized positions in the Administrative Services Department Finance Specialist. Whereas the County Board approved resolution number 2025-247, creating the Finance Division in the Administrative Services Department, and whereas the Finance Division includes 4 accounts payable clerks, 2 finance specialists, and the Director of Finance. And whereas the county executive has requested to make changes to the finance division's organizational structure that will properly reflect the job duties and responsibilities within the new division, and whereas the county executive has proposed an organizational structure that would remove 1 accounts payable clerk and add an additional finance specialist position, and whereas the Policy, Personnel, and Appointments Committee of the Whole has recommended to the county board approval of the removal of an accounts payable clerk position and the addition of a finance specialist position, and now therefore be it resolved that the Champaign County Board approves the amendment to the schedule of authorized positions in the Administrative Services Department by removing 1 accounts payable clerk position and adding 1 finance specialist position. Yes, Chair Locke.
Mr. Wilson, I agree with you. The title should have both. Since both are being amended, I agree with you. So I would move to amend the title of the resolution to, after finance specialist, say, and accounts payable clerk. I believe that's what you were asking for, and I think the lines of communication were just crossed. So that's my motion. If anybody wants to second it, I bet you Ms. Vantage Theron will ask.
Mr. Sexton, I believe is seconding it. Yeah, that's what I figured. Okay. All right. Any discussion on the suggestion? Yes.
I just simply want to note that this is not a triplication of positions. And just based on what you've just told us, I want that to be really, really clear for the public, and just reiterate what you've already said.
All right. You're good. We're good. You're good. All in favor of, go ahead.
So, because it just seemed like it's too many. How many people have been in this department previously?
This department is new.
But as far as with the finance department? It's always been Travis, right?
Are you talking about the people who do finance for the county? Or are you talking about the
Yes.
people in the auditor's office whose positions are moving over here because that work is coming to the
Point of order. I think discussion right now is on the motion.
I'm trying to ask for clarification of how many people is.
Right, but she made a motion for an amendment, so we need to discuss that before we can discuss the resolution.
I'm calling for a vote to amend the title of the proclamation. I don't know what you call this resolution. Amending the schedule of authorized positions in the Administrative Services Department, Finance Specialist, and Accounts Payable. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Ayes have it. Now we will go back to talking about the actual resolution itself. Ms. Carter, you may ask your question now.
Because it does look like a duplication of positions. That's why I was asking for clarification.
Understood. No, there's enough work in there for multiple people to do. Ms. Furtado.
So the finance department originally was just one person. Then we added a finance specialist. I do not believe it was under this current administration. It was under the previous administration when Tammy Ogden was and it was something that she specifically and multiple administrations going back well before I even think we had an elected had been advocating for. Then we moved 5 people from the auditor's office into this. So there's no net new positions. There's just 5 additional people from the auditor's office that we are just retooling how one of them is classified. So that is sort of the trajectory of the history. And I could be wrong about the exact timing of when that first finance specialist was put in, but I know I was finance chair, and at least the substantive discussion of that was not under this current administration.
All right, seeing no more hands up. All those in favor of amending the schedule of authorized positions in Administrative Services Department, Finance Specialist, and Accounts Payable Resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Nay.
Motion passes. Requesting approval of the 2026 holiday calendar. You will find it on page 44 of your packet. This lists the holidays for the year of 2026. Can I get a motion? Mr. Farney. Can I get a second? Ms. Lockshin. Discussion. We're all good? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Requesting approval for the 2026 County Board Calendar of Meetings, which is on 45 and 46 of your packet. Can I get a motion? Mr. Sexton, what? Are you motioning, or we still need to? Or second? Or no? You can second and then talk. Okay, thank you. Ms. Rodriguez, seconds. Discussion. Ms. Rodriguez? Okay.
Is it that we need to move the facilities meeting for November from Tuesday, November 3rd to Wednesday, November 4th? Because there will be a general election on the 3rd.
Is that a motion?
Yes, I make that motion, please.
Alrighty, do I have a second for that motion? Mr. Wilson, is there discussion about that motion to move that meeting? Ms. Lockshin?
I will say from the facilities committee standpoint, that's what we've typically done for election days.
Cool, alrighty. I'm seeing no other discussions. What? Yep.
Can you just clarify what date you said to move it to? I'm sorry.
It's Wednesday, November 4th.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to move the facilities meetings from November 3rd, a Tuesday, to a November 4th, a Wednesday in 2026 to avoid the general election. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Now to approve the amended county board calendar of meetings for 2026. No discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion also passes. We have some currently vacant appointments. You can see our full list and information on the website. In the packet, we have applications for open appointments, which is information only. You can see those on pages 48 and 55 through 55. We have the county clerk monthly fee reports for September of 2025, which includes an impressive amount of vital clerk fees, which would be vital records, births, marriage certificates, death certificates. Let's see. We have a county board resolution to appoint Jamila Rogers to the litigation committee to replace the departing Carolyn Greer. Can I get a motion?
So I see Mr. Thorsland first, I guess. Was that so? Okay,
That was your
so
motion?
we don't actually have the resolution in our packet,
Oh.
is what I'm pointing out.
Thank you.
I do believe that as chair, I can just appoint her.
Okay.
But yeah, so I've spoken with her, even though she's not here tonight. She's not being voluntold. She is agreeable.
Okay.
Ms. Rogers will be on the litigation committee.
Alrighty. So are we just gonna?
I believe so. Yeah, it says resolution, but I believe I just have power to just appoint her, like I knight thee. Look, there's Megan.
Only at county board meetings, so it needs to
So-
go forward to county
Okay,
board.
we'll
So
do.
we just
So maybe
need to
we'll have a
forward this to-
resolution to vote on, just so we can
Because this
give her
was
her flowers.
added on Friday, I
Okay.
didn't have time to write a resolution.
Thank
for
you.
it.
It's okay. So we'll do this on Friday or next week.
Point of order. I mean, in the past, Kyle just did that. He just assigned and it moved forward. Am I not?
It's been by resolution.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Are we just gonna table this until the main board meeting?
We can. Yeah, there's actually no resolution for us to vote on. We could just remove this item completely, realistically.
All right. Everybody all right with that? Do we need to vote to remove that from? Okay. Cool. That is moot. I have no other business. What? Yes, you have some other business. Ms. Furtado.
Yeah, I think, because I do think this would be an issue of policy. I think I would like to request that, and maybe this is maybe a board bylaws or maybe something that could be done by resolution. I do think that our minutes should reflect if a board member leaves before there is subsequent voting items, because the record will show anonymous or unanimous. And if we do not have a record of who's there, then that record would assume that people are voting on things that they're not, and then therefore it's not an accurate voting record. So it's maybe less of a concern for me. I mean, it's a concern for me that we have members who routinely leave during end of meeting discussions that are often that matter. But in terms of record keeping, I actually do think there's a reason that we should, in some way, shape, or form, record that into the minutes, because otherwise those unanimous votes basically have people casting votes that they're not here for. I don't know if we need to take any formal action on that. I wanted to bring it up in other business so that maybe in a subsequent meeting we can handle it.
Okay. Ms. Lockton?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything formal, but I do usually see that reflected in the minutes.
Do you?
Mhm.
Okay, thank you. I wasn't sure.
And honestly, we could always just call the roll for any votes like that if you really, really want to get everybody on record. Any other business? All good. All righty. I have no chair's report. We have a designation of items to be placed on the consent agenda. I have 9A2.
Not two.
Not two. Not two. Are we sure not?
It passed, but not unanimous.
Oh, okay. 3, 4, and I believe that's it. 9A3, 9A4.
All right, moving on, other business. We have approval of closed session minutes from September 9th, 2025, first session and second session. Before I take a motion, I would remind us that if we wish to discuss it, we have to enter into a closed session. Is there a motion? Mr. Cagle, Mr. Sexton, second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it, and we call this meeting adjourned at 7:14 p.m.